Good evening and salutations, my YNR fans. So let's start off with Jack and Phyllis. Um, also they had a character named Grace that came on the show for like under 5 minutes and was talking to Jack for a little bit, mostly about Phyllis and does he still has a thing for her, or whatever. Um, I'm gonna be honest, she didn't really serve much of a purpose, but to be fair, even when I'm watching GH. And they have characters like Bobby. Sometimes she'll just come in and just be there because, she's been a staple on the show for a long time. Um, so I figured that was the same thing with Grace. Um, anyway, after Phyllis tells her daughter that she's not going to be moving to Milan because she has friends and roots and stuff like that, you know, Summer just pretty much asks, like, are you sure that Jack isn't, a factor in your decision on staying? Now she tries to, I don't want to suggest that, yeah, she tries to pretty much play it off. She's like, hey, I had a bad breakup and, we're just better off as friends and yada, yada, yada. He's always there for me, this, that, and the third. But, Summer's like, yeah, I get what you're saying, but I'm not exactly buying it. Um, and how even to tell you the truth, she looked on her face and she realized she wasn't buying it either. The issue with that is that from what I understand, she hasn't exactly been a really she hasn't been a good girlfriend to him. Um, cheating on him a couple of times. So the fact that they are actually still friends and they're talking is nothing short of a miracle. But she does let Jack know about the name, from the text message that he was getting. And the name is How Nguyen. I'm not gonna lie, I kind of had to sit there and rewatch the last 5 minutes of that, or like, a couple of seconds of that, just to get the name down. But he said that it couldn't been because that was his late wife's name. So either you know she has some sort of secret daughter or something, or they're just bringing people back from the dead. I have no idea. Um, but yeah, so it seemed like it was really short, like their whole storyline. A lot of it, a lot of this episode was mostly about, Dominic and stuff, and Mariah and Tess, which I'm gonna be honest, I really did not care. I mean, don't get me wrong, is they're planning their wedding and stuff like that, and they can't figure out on where they want to sit there and go. So they go downstairs and they start pretty much asking the whole gang, and that is Moses, Nick, Sharon, and I feel like I'm missing someone. Faith, I think that's her name. They all asking for ideas, and they all give different ideas, but it's Noah that is the tiebreaker in this whole thing. So okay, that's cool. Um, Now the stuff with Chance and Davon, yeah, Davon, Amanda, um, Chance, Nabby. So Abby Smith, they want to make sure that Chance is, good. Like, if he's, wants to talk about anything. And I kind of looked at the situation and I was like, he did open up to you. You can't sit there. He'll open up to you when he's ready. He was like, yo, listen, this day is about, it's about Dominic and stuff like that. I'm good right now. I mean, I get the fact that she's like, I don't want you to bury your feelings. She brings up the whole PTSD thing again, and I get it from a storyboard point of view. She got to sit there and kind of let new viewers know, like me, because I just tuned in today, that that's what he's dealing with. But I feel like just bringing it up all the time could be a lot. But what she did sit there and say was that he needs to sit there and talk to a therapist, somebody that can sit there and give him the help that he needs. Um, and when Devon come, when Devon came in there, more or less he said the same thing. He kind of I guess you could sit there and say open up a vein, kind of shared his experience and, the fact that he had a panic attack and everything like that, and just how important it was to, you know, get help for what he was going through. So they take Dominic to, get the procedure done. Um, and I guess Davon has a lot of money because he had a lot of the medical equipment or whatever at the house, which is great because that just opens up a bed for, anyone else that's in need. Um, they get into somewhat of an argument. Oh, and Chase does actually um, call Sharon to sit there and see if she can, see if he can try to get some help or whatever, which is good. Um, it's a very hard thing to sit there and do is reaching for help and feeling vulnerable and you know it just takes a lot. It takes a lot, and especially for people who are very strong-willed and who always feels like they're in control. So I give them props for that. Anyway, I wouldn't sit there and say they got into an argument, but pretty much they both didn't want, Davon didn't want to leave. At first, he wanted to kind of take Dominic to his place, but Abby was like, he's already comfortable here, he's familiar here. Like, I don't feel like that's necessary. So I guess they're all just gonna sit there and sleep in different parts of the house because no one's leaving. In some extent, I feel like I'm watching the whole Jocelyn and Cam and Trina stuff. Bottom line, Faith is not there, looking into different schools. And, when she leaves to talk to Moses, they kind of go in their little corner or whatever. Nick is like, I want to make sure that she picks a school that works for her and not a school that, is going to be close. He wants to make sure that her decision on the school that she chooses isn't going to be based off of him, but more off of, what she wants and what she needs. And, it's a similar conversation with Faith and Moses as far as, because at first, Faith was like, maybe I could sit there and stay here. Because, Moses wants to, like do local school or whatever. And this way he can sit there and have an internship with his family and stuff like that. And, Faith was like, I'll do that too. And this way, we can still be together instead of commuting back and forth and stuff. And, Moses like, listen, that's all like good and cool, but let's just make sure it's something that you want because your family is going to be keeping an eye on it, Like pretty much he's like, I want to make sure that your family doesn't get mad um at, adding me as a factor in your, whatever school you decide to go into. Which is really important because I can't remember which parent said what. Um but pretty much it was like you don't know what's gonna happen in the next 2 or 3 years. You pick a school that's close to him, that's close to her, and then the relationship doesn't work out, and now you're kind of stuck at a school, and might actually pick a career that didn't exactly work out for you, or you didn't really want, and you're kind of stuck, or you're wasting time changing course. So I don't know. I guess an interesting conversation. I feel like that's about it for the most part. I'm not gonna lie, a lot really didn't happen, and Um, even some of the interesting stuff with like Jack and Phyllis, Jack and Phyllis, it seemed like it was cut so short. Um, I mean, yeah, she got a location in LA, but there was a lot of people with that name in LA. I mean, it's still on a. I don't want to sit there and say wild goose chase, but it's like, yeah, I would definitely go with someone. Like, I wouldn't be sitting there going by myself. I know it's a soap opera, so I don't think it's anything that's like, too nefarious. Like, Oh, also, something I noticed in this episode, when Phyllis was sitting there talking about mature, she didn't say mature. She said mature, or she pronounced it with a T, like material or something. And I felt like it was one of those things where it's like she kind of messed up on her line, and they were just like, "Nah, screw it. We're just gonna sit there and we're just gonna use it. Nah, it's fine. We're not gonna sit there and reshoot that." I don't know. I felt like it was just it was so weird because I mean I've watched her on GH. I don't really know her acting that well, but it just seemed like it was very odd to sit there and mess up on a name like Mature. Like, how many people seem like they messed up on that name? So the fact that she was like when you hear it, it's just like, Matoyo? Is that what you just say? Did you mean mature? Because I didn't, I sort of got that. I don't know, it's weird. I've never actually heard, I don't know if that was on purpose or that was just like a mess up that they were just like, nah, we just not going to do that again. Um, I felt it was very off though. I feel like that's about it. Like I said, I don't sit there and put it in a very delicate way. Um, right now, the story that I'm mostly interested is in the Victoria because I saw the previews, which by the way, definitely got me excited. Billy and Victor, so that they're looking into Ashland's past, and maybe some stuff may come up this week, and that's the stuff that I'm kind of looking forward to. Um, the whole Moses and Faith stuff, I'm gonna be honest, I didn't really care that much about it. The Phyllis and Jack stuff, as far as trying to track down this text net message, like as far as like the person that's doing it. Now that was interesting, but it was cut so short. It was cut so short, and I felt like the majority of this episode, well, one was the Dom and Chan stuff, which was actually pretty, it was pretty good. It was pretty decent. Um, I did like the fact that Chance did one of reaching out for help. Um, but besides that, it was mostly like Mariah and Tess, and they what they was what they're doing was talking about their wedding, like their wedding plans. It was just like, all right. And then it didn't really go anywhere, so they went downstairs, and then they got everyone else's opinion, and that didn't go anywhere for a while. And I'm just like, when are you gonna get some of these other people like some really interesting storylines? Like in a lot of ways, it's sort of just like G, just like they start to play favors. And maybe I'm wrong, maybe I'm just reading into it too much, but I don't know. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. I want to thank you for watching. Be safe, and I will see you in the next video.